Jeff here, and today we're going to check out the changes to Wintertodt. Before this update, I did have quite a bit of KC on all of my accounts, as I am showing my skills on screen. Now, I do have some higher level gathering skills, so the loot at the end should be pretty decent, but there are my skills now, just in case you want an idea of what the loot will end up being as we get going here. So, hopefully you guys will enjoy this, leave a like, and let's get to it. This won't be like a perfect guide, this is doing it Jeff style, because I'm Jeff and I like to do things my way, but I will explain how they have changed things and how I like it better or don't like it better throughout the video, so stay tuned for that as well. Jeff style means I'm not going to be sweating trying to do this, I'm just going to do it the way that works best for me. I find a method that kind of clicks for me, hits all those buttons in my old noggin, and I'm just happy that way. So that's the way Jeff style is. I like to think that I'm in the average Runescape player with too much free time on his hands, and this is the one game that I put all my free time into, really. If they made a good Call of Duty game, I'd probably go back to that, but it's been like 10 years. Ugh. Less about me and my Call of Duty woes and more about Wintertodt. So the warmth meter up there is like your new health meter. You don't take damage from Wintertodt anymore, you take coldness damage in a way, as the first game ends up with a 935 score and 3 points towards the rewards. But back to the warmth. So the warmth is like your health meter now. So you'll see every once in a while these blue hit markers pop up, and that's me taking damage. So that's what will interrupt you as you're fletching, or if you're putting the roots and stuff into the actual brazier. That's what will interrupt you, me not being able to pronounce RuneScape words. Leave a like for that. But that's the biggest update and change to this, is it's more about sustainability. You're not just downing food the whole time, and if you accidentally AFK for a little too long, you won't come back to your guy just being dead and someone buried your bones or something like that. It's a lot more forgiving, as this next game wraps up with 860 points and 3 chances at a reward. Not too bad. The threshold to get a reward is 750 points, so my goal every game was to hit at least 750 points. That wasn't too bad, actually. The strategy that I use would be I would cut one inventory of logs, then I would stand where I'm standing and I'd fletch those logs and hopefully fix the brazier if it breaks, or relight it or something for those extra points. And I would do the first inventory like that. I'd have around 30% left, and I would try to get as many up to that 750 for the extra 50% chance at getting a reward. You get an extra chance at points, as 835 points comes in here with 3 points to the reward. I might not say it every time, but I will show how many points I get and how many rolls I get every single game. Why fletch? Used to be the meme all the time people say here. Maybe they still do, but I always play Wintertodt with my chat off and the entity hider on. That's why you can't see anybody, because with all the people running around and stuff, it just becomes a headache for me. And if you have the chat on, it becomes very, very headache inducing for you. Just so you know, if you go in here, just turn off the chat or don't engage with people. It's a very strange thing that happens when a large group of people get gathered on RuneScape. As we finish up another game with 870 points and 3 rolls on the reward. That's more chances at a pet, which is what I really want on this account. I really want to get a pet on my pure account. I have all sorts of pets on my main, but I don't have a single pet on my pure, which is just very, I don't know, it's just sad. I want a pure with a pet. It'd be cool to have a pet. That's all I want. Maybe if I keep saying pet, will I get one? Pet, pet. Nah, it won't work that way. Or will it? It could. You never know. Pet. I've always been a big fan of Wintertodt because fire making just kind of felt like a useless skill in RuneScape. Yeah, you could light fires in a line and that could keep people away from you. Not really, you can walk right through the fires, but there's no good point lighting the fires in a line. Maybe that would be helpful in like Sims 1 or 2 to try to take care of the Sims, and you would put a bunch of furniture in a room and put it next to a fireplace, so the fireplace would start and then the Grim Reaper would come in. It'd be really scary for me. But in RuneScape, at least, it didn't make any sense to have the fire making skill. Like, you couldn't really use fire making to help you get around the game faster. It was just a really fast EXP, a really weird, grindy, carpal tunnel inducing way. And then in RS3, bonfires came out, and that was a really AFK way to get fire making XP. And I love it. As we get 94 fire making in this video, leave a like for 94 fire making. But no, bonfires came out in RS3, and I actually really liked them because I loved AFKing, and I love AFKing in all games because that means I can do something on the side. But bonfires was just even kind of sillier, and now we have them in old school. But we also have Wintertodt, and we have other ways to use fire making. There's used in some quests and stuff now that maybe it is used in RS3, but I haven't ventured too much into that. But Wintertodt kind of felt nice. It was like a big community type skill to do, the first one of its kind on the game, and now there's been many different variations for other kind of weird skills like rune crafting and fishing. So it's very nice to have these alternative methods of getting skills, but it also is strange that your rewards are just random gathering stuff. But it's great for Iron Men, and it's a great way to train fire making if you don't want to just click logs in a line or just stare at a fire AFKing at a bank or the GE. The old meta for Wintertodt was doing it at level 3 with 10 HP. This is because back in the day, Wintertodt back in the day, like a week ago before this video, Wintertot's damage was scaled by your HP and not by the warm clothing you have. Yes, the warm clothing helped you take less damage, but it didn't mitigate the damage. But when you were level 3 with the only 10 HP, you'd only be taking a little damage at a time, where if you had more HP, you'd be taking like big chunks of damage and having to eat a bunch of food and bank all the time. Now it's pretty even across the board as long as you have the appropriate amount of warm clothing. I actually am 45 minutes into this video. I'm still sitting around 50% warmth because it does rejuvenate, and I haven't had to eat a single piece of cake or anything yet to help boost that back up. As long as you have enough warm clothing, it seems, and I am 94 fire making, but it does seem that if you have enough warm clothing that you may never have to go bank for food or even eat much for food. You might just have to grab like one rejuvenation potion before you start the game, and that might be enough for you to stay here for hours without having to bank. Where before you would get the supply crates, and those alone mixed in with taking damage from Wintertodt would make you have to bank pretty frequently, and that was a little bit of annoying. Now you can just AFK in between games, which gives you about a full minute to stand here and do cool stuff like handstands or flexing on the haters in real life. If you've never done Wintertodt before because you've been nervous about it, thinking it was going to be too difficult or something, I promise you it is a very easy minigame. The hardest part is remembering to have the warm clothing so you don't get just owned by the coldness before you get owned by the damage, and that would take you out of the game. And if you're an Iron Man, you can find warm clothing around the game pretty easily. Their Clue Hunter clothing you can find from digging up in the random spots of the game is how I did it on my Iron Man. And then once you start getting points, which you get them pretty quickly, you'll unlock more pyromancy, and you can start swapping those out for the full pyromancy, which is what I have in this video. You'll probably get full pyromancy within, I don't know, a few hundred KC as long as you get enough points per game, as I get 975 in that last game for 3 last points. Showing you guys my collection log here, as you can see that I have most of the pyromancy. Actually, I have all the pyromancy. I'm just missing the dragon hatchet and that sweet Phoenix pet. Please give me the pet this time around. That'd be so cool. Yeah, I've had some pretty good luck here at the Wintertodt. I've had 5 warm gloves. That's a bit bizarre as we get into the price check part. Let's go. Let's do it. All aboard the hype train. I skipped ahead for this part. I wouldn't blame you at all for skipping ahead for this part, other person who's definitely not me changing my voice. It's the big dopamine release of the video. I had 35 total chances at loot here from 12 KC of Wintertodt. I was averaging 3 chances per game. Only had 1 game where I only had 2 rolls at loot. As you can see, the loot rolling in, it is based on your stats, if you didn't hear me say that earlier, or if you did skip to this part of the video. So my stats are on screen now. That's why they're just kind of sitting there, so you have a little bit of a reference point. If I had a higher farming level, I'd be getting a lot better seeds, a lot better herbs. I wouldn't be getting the irits and the quirums, you know, me saying those RuneScape names, I can't say them. It's like I have some sort of thing wrong with me. Oh no, I sure don't. I hope I don't. But if I had a higher mining too, you could be getting some runit ores and all that fun stuff. But the higher wood cutting, I did get some magic logs, which is nice, and some shards, stuff like that. But it is based on your level, so if you did want to come here later on, it is beneficial now since the damage isn't based on your HP level. You can come here later on your RuneScape travels as we finish up all of the loot from the loot pile. Let's see how much money we made. So in 1 hour of Wintertodt with decent stats, I made 177k. That's not too bad at all for 277,000 fire making XP, 16,000 fletching XP, 13,000 wood cutting XP, and 1k construction XP. But yeah, not too bad. If I had some higher farming, I would have made a lot more money with the seeds and herbs, which would have boosted that up. So if you liked this video and if you liked me, I'm Jeff, and I make all sorts of RuneScape videos, so subscribe for more if you want to join this. Check out my channel for something else you might like, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. And please come back again.